This is a video for Dan and everyone at Yankee Creek Ranch. We took Connor back to North Carolina on the weekend. He's been back up in Pennsylvania for a couple of weeks since his fantastic result at the Bruce's Field Grand Prix eventing. It was fantastic. It was pretty good. We finished third, which was a decent result. I decided to put him in the 3-star short just because that run at Bruce's Field was only 2 weeks ago, and sometimes it can be a bit tough on their legs, I think, if you sort of take him to two sort of taxing events 2 weeks in a row. My plan was just to always run him a little bit quietly around the 3-star cross country, just because we sort of were after it a little bit at the Bruce's Field Grand Prix eventing. So the 3-star dressage, he was incredible. He scored a 22.6, which I think's probably our best score ever. By saying that, this is easy work for Connor, but as you can see, he was fantastic in the dressage. He was really, really extravagant. He impressed the judges, and he was just foot perfect all the way through. Saying that, the show jumping in cross country this weekend, Dan, wasn't. I'm glad I put him in the 3-star. I was wondering if I was being a bit of a big baby putting him in the 3-star, but he was definitely a little bit rattled after, with the Grand Prix eventing in Aiken at Bruce's Field. You really have to fly around and ride him like a go-kart sort of thing, and really sort of accelerate and turn. And Connor's a bit of a spooky horse, and he's still young-ish for being at the top of the level of the sport, and deep down I wondered if maybe doing that hard and fast and frantic competition might upset him the next start. I only jumped him once between the two competitions, and in hindsight I wish I did another sort of jump school after Bruce's Field closer to it, just to sort of get his mind back. Anyway, the good news is the reason we put him in the 3-star is because I was suspicious that he wouldn't be at his best, and it was a good sort of schooling, confident building round, and I think he'll be better for it. My plan at the moment is to still focus towards Kentucky 5-star. I think that's a very realistic goal in April, at the end of April. We'll see how he feels. Our next event, I'm going to put him in the 4-star and sort of have a bit of a go at it, which will be back at Stableview in Aiken in 3 weeks' time. And if he doesn't feel great there, we could potentially talk about rerouting to Lemoulin 5-star, which is in May or June. But at the moment, I've sort of got his fitness schedule and all these preparations pointing towards the 5-star at Kentucky. So, and I feel like also we're back at the main training facility in Pennsylvania, it's a lot easier to prepare and school the horses in the cross country, just because we've got a big, great training field that will improve him. So we blitzed the field. And we were winning after the dressage, and anyway, Connor was brilliant. The show jumping, which you'll see in a minute, it's a tricky show jumping actually. It's out in a big field, and then jumps 1 and 2 were right next to a really spooky VIP tent, and Connor's always a little bit sort of nervous and a little bit tentative at the first couple of jumps, and the fact that it was next to this spooky tent where there's music going and people chatting, and on top of that, we didn't have an ideal preparation because of the last show. But anyway, you'll see in a second, we ended up having the first 2 fences down, which was a little bit of a shock, to be honest. When I was riding him, I was like, what the hell, what's going on here? And he sort of, what happens is when he loses his attention and he sort of looks and spooks, he jumps a little bit low, and he actually taps them behind with his hind toes. and he jumps a little bit hollow through his back, so you don't see this first jump. It's a very small jump, but he just touches it with his back toes, and I mean, it's pretty hard to see from here, but then he does the same thing again here where he jumps it, and as he's jumping, he's sort of looking off to the side, and then he bumps into it with his back toes. Anyway, I feel like it was a shame that happened. I was disappointed, but it's a good reminder that it takes a fair bit to prepare Connor to perform as well as he can, and I might try and find a show jumping show that we could go to prepare for Kentucky, because he's obviously a fantastic jumper. He's a brilliant, careful, scopy jumper, and his mind wanders though. As soon as he starts sort of losing concentration or losing focus, he's a tricky horse to ride. Anyway, the good news is we finished the round well. Obviously, we had a poor start over fence 1 and 2, and then I feel like the rest of the course he jumped in a good way, good style and technique, and
she stuck to it.
Then the cross country,
Back in front of her leg,
I mean, it was pretty good. I after our 2 rails down, and I decided just to canter around in a slow speed and try and give him a nice round. And like the show jumping, it's hard to see on the video, but he wasn't quite at his best. He was charging at the jumps a bit, and I think that's a reflection of me going pretty quick on him in the last event. And there was 1 or 2 jumps where I sort of asked him to balance or slow down in front of the jump, and he just kept on flying at the fence. By saying that, it was sort of a nice, confident building round. I think that the jumps were considerably easy for him, and it was he got a
very wide line.
Nice sort of canter around. He was probably out there for 6 or 7 minutes, so it was a good fitness run, which will be helpful as we get him prepared for the 5-star 3-day event.
That's kind of exciting too, to be able to jump around that 4-star track.
My plan is to keep him up here in Pennsylvania for the next 3 weeks as we do a lot of fitness work, and I'll sort of keep working at his jumping a little bit. And then, unfortunately, we have to turn around and go back to Aiken, South Carolina on April 5th and 7th to do the 4-star short at Stableview. That will be our preparation event as we get him ready for hopefully Kentucky. And
really good shot there.
I'll get a good opportunity between now and then to school him a little bit in the show jumping and cross country, make sure we get him back on track. Obviously, the dressage is fantastic, and I have to say his fitness and his soundness has been good. And
it's tough taking over a ride that someone else has produced.
Anyway, he's still obviously a little bit of a work in progress, but I think it's important that when we get to the 5-star event this spring, that we really go for it, and we go in there with our sleeves rolled up, and we go in there to win, not just to survive. So we've still got a little bit of work to do, but fitness is good, and I feel like in the next sort of month I'll be able to get him back to where we had him sort of at the end of last year. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for all the support, and we'll keep working away. I'll check in with you again soon.
I have to say, I never personally liked riding with 2 reins.
It's some kind of skill when it's done well.
Yeah. There's a lot. You're always letting the reins slip and slide and having to regather, and good drop in there for Commando 3.
5, yeah. You see, so he's holding this horse back a little bit. He's saying, "Hey, come on, let's just go easy here, boy. We don't need to attack it."
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah.
So, I didn't get a good look at what happened to Lucy.